Hello, everyone. Welcome back for some more Great Ace Attorney. We're continuing with this mid-quill case. It's kind of weird to have a case set in the middle of the first game, which apparently has ramifications for the future. So let's keep going. Let's see what's going to go on. We made it back in one piece. To be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. Yeah, speaking of, I gotta go to the bathroom and feel like I aged several weeks in there. There were so many carriages on the streets of London, you were very nearly flattened several times. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruhodo-san, it really was. I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you. And now that your fervent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time, let's see if we can't find some new clues for court tomorrow. Yes, let's do that. Is everything all right? I suppose. Still can't quite believe it, that's all. That I'm here in England, working as a lawyer, I mean. In the Old Bailey, no less. The truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma. Think anyone in Japan played the second game without the first? They'd be screwed! It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him. Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. And you're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I've no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us. Thank you, Susato-san. Thank you. A little heartfelt moment. Okay. Oh. Kazuma Asogi, the best friend I ever had, and a lawyer with such promise. He really saved my bacon in that horrible incident just before we left Japan. I can still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial, that crazy idea he came up with. This is stowaway? Yes, you can fit inside my trunk if you curl up small enough, I'm sure. No one will know. Kazuma, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I can accompany you to Great Britain? Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. But you really ought to go into law. Be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it. Believe me, I guarantee it. But I've never even thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world, the city at the forefront of everything. It can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer in one day... Yeah? One day what? Oh, no. Never mind. What's the implication here? Is he gonna switch to become a prosecutor? Could you imagine? That'd be crazy. Then they'd have to fight each other. Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about Kazuma. Yes, he's forever in my thoughts, too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. I mean, eventually they'd adopt the jury system. In like 2040. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. I find it so funny that because of what I assume was a mistake, Ace Attorney Forever takes place in the future. Like, in one of the early games, they accidentally said, like, the current year for an event that was supposed to take place in the past, which means that it takes place in, like, yeah, like, timeline-wise, like, 2050, 2060. But, like, it's the most realistic 2040, 2050, 2060, because it's, like, what technology is there? Flip phones and, you know, maybe a robot, but, like, that's about it. It's kind of funny. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. Yes, that's right. But... Yes? I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. The thought just takes hold of me every now and then, and that's all. Oh, we got some big lore. Okay, let's do these first. It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? When the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand? I know. It's amazing what happens when things aren't a murder. Not only that, but then finding out that he actually is a bare-faced gas thief as well. Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki-san poisoning the tea. Careful of your phrasing, Sasato-san, he didn't poison anything! And there's more to this Mr. Shamspear than we yet know, I'm sure of it. I swear if he's in like some secret league of assassins or something crazy. Mr. Shamspear certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first. Can you imagine the guy whose name literally has Sham in it is a bad guy? What? That's crazy! What's actually become of him, actually? I was told he'd be returning to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment. Oh, which one's that? Let me see. Yes, he's at St. Bartholomew's, or Bart's as Londoners call it. Well, we know that place, don't we? Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's in the same hospital to which she was taken. Yes, after Soseki-san stabbed her in the back. Do be careful of your phrasing, Naruhodo-san. He didn't stab anyone. Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's. Yes, we should probably visit the hospital later. Was next. So, we know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question, but as he isn't the culprit, then obviously... Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea. But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Mr. Shamspear's body? I'm sure we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shamspear's room that will help us solve the mystery. Could it be that tiny letter we found? Well, naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been over the place already. But it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think. Definitely. And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea left in the bar of soap. Well, if we run into Inspector Gregson, we could ask him about that. What are his true intentions? Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-sama's true intentions? It does feel like he's literally keeping something from us. Whoa. You know, I always assumed that this was meant to be first-person view. But this really is the first time they're really confirming that this is weird, seeing things directly from the vision of the lawyer. So he always stands in one spot on every every investigation he stands in one place. It's like that's his designated standing spot. He doesn't move anywhere else. I mean this. His katana? I never expected to inherit this sword after Kazuma passed away, of course. No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it. When I have it at my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes. Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. Oh. Karuma? Oh my god, hold up. Because my first thought is, okay, what's the Japanese? But I'm thinking, like, is this meant to be a pun in English? Is this meant to be karma? No way. Because I'm thinking like Karuma Tengu, right? But I don't know what Karuma means. That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. We should go back to wielding swords. It's so cool! A Japanese man's sword is a soul, Rinosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do? Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. We never learned what it is, huh? What did you mean by something very important I have to do? I'd hope the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet, I've not found a single clue. I see. Concerning, right? Yeah, do you have any idea about this? Sasato-san, what do you make nothing? Oh dear, what indeed? Let me see. If you don't know, really, it's fine to say so. I won't hold it against you. That's it. Nothing, huh? Okay. Well, I think we're good. Let's go on out to... Let's see here. Oh, go say hello to Mr. Sholmes and Iris? Sure. Morning, everyone. 22nd of February, Sholmes Suite. Oh, Runo and Susie, hooray, you're back! Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits today, as always, I see. I am, and you look as immaculately presented as ever, Susie. Oh, you flatter me. Well, you couldn't have come at a better time. I've just made a pot of tea. I'll set some cups. Really? Thanks, Iris, but actually, what is that foul smell? Oh, Holmes just shit himself again. He does that sometimes. Haha! I've shit myself. The Wanderers return at last. Wait, Holmes' voice. Wait, I've lost it. Oh no! My voice! Holmes, yes. Quite. The Wanderers returned at last. Where on earth have the pair of you been? We've been in court. Oh, for Mr. Mustache's case. That was today, was it? I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure you think you did. Well, we can laugh about it now. So tell me, how did the trial go? Reasonably well so far. We've managed to escape without a guilty verdict, at least. Really? I would have liked to see it. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. What? Huh? Is Lord Van Zeek's an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruhodo. Not quite what I asked, but still. Mr. Sholmes, whatever is that odor? As I said, my dear, I shit myself. Yeah, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful. Are you all deaf? There are poopies in my trousers. Indeed, that's the scent of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science. Oh, dear. All right, I'll bite. What's he up to now? Buddy? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, first off, tell me about Lord Van Zeek's. Lord Baroque Van Zeek's. Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet. An interesting what? Stop with these words. Sobriquet? What is that?
Sobriquet.
Sobriquet?
Sobriquet.
Sobriquet, a person's nickname. What a freaking ostentatious word. Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet he has, isn't it? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, that person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts, sooner or later the hapless soul will vanish from the capital. But vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning in the Thames, or succumbing to a sudden fever, or quite out of the blue, being set upon by a highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow. It all seems a little far-fetched, really. Well, on the bright side, Mr. Mustache is fighting fit, for the time being at least. That's not overly reassuring. If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zeek's own hand. As it happens, Mrs. Sato, that is quite impossible. Oh, why? Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whenever these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast-iron alibi. Really? And so his reign continued. But 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. The phrasing "as a prosecutor" is really interesting. That is, until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. That bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection. And it really did end bitterly indeed. And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again. Poor Runo. I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky or incredibly unlikable. I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general racist loathing. Oh, there we go. Of all Japanese people. Oh, that's a button. With Mr. Natsume, who I'm currently defending, being Japanese, as well as Miss Sato and myself, he's like, wait, what? That's why you all look alike. How interesting. I felt it even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord Van Zeek seems to have an inherent disdain for the Japanese. Indeed. It is an interesting observation. Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Sholmes? It was about 10 years ago that Baroque Van Zeeks chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, years ago, he was Japanese. The young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan. No! What? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes! What happened? That's it, that's all I know. I believe I've made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair. Oh, but... The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course, I've no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Mustache who is the most deserving of your attention, I believe. Alright. So, what is that indescribably foul smell? How many times do I have to say it? Ah, well. Most probably this, I would say. Yo. You poop blue? What is that? My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. Does he know we all do that? A chemical test can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea. Oh, my. There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some of London's less frequented streets. They regularly sell what purports to be high-quality tea, but is in fact merely dyed leaves of drab flavor. Some would argue all tea is dried leaves of drab flavor, but that's neither here nor there. Also, certainly unsavory behavior. So, when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris? At the ready, Hurley. Let us add a drop of my chemical to this cup of tea here. Do you see what happens? Wow, it turned black. It's turned completely black. And what a foul odor it's giving off. Indeed. The blacker the tea becomes, the more foul the odor, and the better the tea is. It would appear that this cup was particularly fine Darjeeling. That's very ingenious, but what do you do with that black liquid now? Why, dispose of it, naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you? There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Sholmes. Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam. Right? The point is, we are entering a new era of science, in the world of criminal investigation also. It might take, like, 2035 till it's done, but... Well, wait, no, in Britain it will. Japan, though, it's going to take a bit. Yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times. I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Herlock Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which modern investigative technique is based. And I assure you, it's quite based indeed. This little tea indicant was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research. Forensic science? I suppose I should find out more about that. Oh, geez, what the heck is a forensic science? So, your tea test, is that an example of forensic science? Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality. Not a huge number of cases, then. Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints? Not yet accepted on a court as evidence, I might add. Really? Yeah, dragging our heels here. I hadn't even heard of them until recently. Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course. Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Sholmes? There are others in that field already, and I abhor the company of inferior minds. Know what I'm researching? Ha! Skin prints. Skin prints? A nomenclature of my own design, as this is chemical agent that makes it possible. It instantly reveals objects touched by whichever person is under investigation. Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes. As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black. I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed. Okay, bud, I believe you. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any new clues. That's the spirit, Runo. See you later. Yes, until later. No, Mr. Sholmes, we were thinking you'd come with us. You were? Yes, of course. You said so just a moment ago. You said we'd witness your forensic talents in action. Ah, yes, I do recall saying something along those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later. In all likelihood. Probably, maybe. Well, I might. Your commitment astounds me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We'll eagerly await your arrival. Bye-bye, Runo. Bye-bye, Susie. He is incorrigible. We love him. What a treat. Can't see it in action. This is where struck down. His relief is going to be all right. Even the worst for wear. Do you know we haven't visited for some time? Okay, let's go in order. To the hospital bed at the Barts. Still can't get over the size of that rat. There's a big one. Okay. What do you suppose is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance. Yeah, I hear angry voices. What is going on? Be not angry, O ample lady, verily thou art mistaken.
Oh, mistaken, my foot, you were looking in my painting.
The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed the poison that mustached villain gaveth me. Oh, forgive me, lady.
Oh, I wish you died from that poison.
Are these two in a relationship? God a mercy, ample lady, but thou seest I have vigor still. Behold, my Shakespeare dance! This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Every time he poses, it's so funny. Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land, whence riseth the sun. How now? What are you doing here, Mr. Shakespeare? Mary, I do believe I am returned unto another ward.
He was looking, that's what he was doing, looking at my terrible work.
I'm sorry, the Miss Piggy voice had to come back. Eastern fellow, you can't say that, buddy. So darky clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee. Oh, well, thank you. But, oh, that's a cheap thing. That doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? Oh, boy. Oh, I don't like how he stroked that. Anon exunt. That means to exit. I don't know how to say that. I read it all the time, but Mr. Shakespeare might technically be the victim in this case, but there's definitely a lot more to it than that. Very hard to pin the man down.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person.
Oh, Miss Green. Everything all right?
Oh, yes. I mean, don't worry about me. Oh, they were about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now.
Oh, I see. Just doing that voice makes me laugh. We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green.
Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it. I'm so small on the bed, but the rat's so big.
Alright, show me this portrait again. I want to see this again. That's probably him! Yeah, okay. Alright, they're either related or lovers. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look! I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in the reach of everyone like this. Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors. I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock. Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Sato. Okay, I don't think there's anything else to really look at. Easel's not lookable. Hi. So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green?
Oh, I am. Thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me.
Well, yes. It really was an ordeal, wasn't it?
As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife. It collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already.
What a terrible week it's been for you. I can't do this voice without dying. I'm sorry. And not dying as in like my voice hurts like some do. No, I'm like trying so hard not to make myself laugh.
Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I look back on this fondly.
Really?
It's the only time I'll ever get back.
Stop. Stop.
Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. Can't get over the size of that damn rat. Is there like nothing else? No? Damn, alright. Alright. Shamspear's room. Let's just go here to see if there's anything of note. I swear, if there's one of the soap doesn't have the thing in it. Okay, we can't click on it anyways. Okay, so I don't think there's anything here of note. Okay, just checking, just checking. Thank God for the exclamation mark, because that's a new thing that was added for the HD versions. All right, well, here we go. Looking for anything changed. Nope, seems like the crime scene's been untouched, which is good. Oh, hello again, Inspector Gregson. What are you doing here? Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually. The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, I know the score. Oh, yes, and one other thing. The soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With the tea in it? Yeah, we found it all right. And there was a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it! It's with the identification section at the yard now. They're looking into it. Results should be available later today. That's wonderful news. Thank you. Uh-huh. Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Oh, sorry. Nothing. Forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything in here. What is he doing? What is he doing? Let's start with you. Are you looking for new clues, Inspector? On Lord Van Zeek's orders, yeah. Don't come back till you got something for me, he says. Oh dear. Poor you. Yeah, poor me. Because we've already searched every bleeding nook and cranny in this place. I don't know what he expects, to be honest. Thank goodness for warm chips is all I can say. Well, at least he's honest. Honestly, a warm thing of fries, like that's heaven, man. Ran out of change, you wouldn't even have any light, let alone heat. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh. That's true, but if you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they ran out of small change. London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful, too, then. Frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Sasato-san and I are going to make it to spring. That's true. We don't even have a meter at Baker Street, let alone a gas stove. Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter there. Yes, from all the water dripping out of the ice coin, dripping out after the ice coins melted, as you established in court this morning. Very large and obvious stain, isn't it? Mr. Shamspear must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose. It was an ingenious idea, I'll give him that. My wax idea wasn't that bad either. It turns out that Mr. Shamspear wasn't eating the soap at all. That's right. The mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved. Yes, to prise his latest ice coin out of its mold. And in the process, he accidentally broke the bar of soap in two. It was hard to imagine, let alone deduce. The ill-fated teacups from which the two men drank on the ill-fated night. During their heated literary debate, yes. Who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? Sounds like it was quite a discussion. Now I think of it, I'm sure that the two lovers in the play ended their lives with poison, yep. That's fiction, Miss Sasato. Let us hope it stays that way. Okay, so that's still there. That's still there. Window. Sun never shines in this room thanks to that depressing bricked-up window. Yet with enough determination, you can always remove the bricks to set some soap outside, can't you? Sounds like a very wise life lesson, Miss Sasato. Only if you plan to follow a life of crime, Mr. Naruhodo. I think everyone can afford a little crime. You know, we can have a little crime as a treat. Okay. Alright, bud, what are you doing? Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there? What a question indeed. Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? Oi, what are you doing here, Sholmes? What are you up to over there? What are you doing here? Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems. Now is the time, Mr. Now the time, Mr. Sholmes. Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised? With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madam. Time to make this room extra stinky. What's all this? Oh, yo, that looks cool, actually. All this is precisely what you requested, Miss Naruhodo. Mr. Herlock Sholmes' sensational skin print seeker gun. That's just a revolver. Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. A sample from Mr. Shamsphere's cup? Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on. There. Now spray the chemical indicator about and all will be revealed. Spray? How? How to do that exactly? A little press of A on the area interested is all that's required. Like this. Oh, what is that stuff? It's like fog. The suspension of the chemicals indicator in the pressurized gas. It's the most effective way to cover a large area. There was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea. As you do. Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. We may learn something interesting about the victim's movements on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Okay. Yeah? Okay, yeah. Whoa! What the frick were they doing on the wall? That's a lot of handprints. We know they were in costume, so, like, were they, like, you know... Okay. Well, there's dozens of handprints here. So there are, great many indeed. So much so, it's hard to make out any one individual print, in fact. It sends a chill down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while admiring this picture? Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene, after all. Without wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel. Oh, very true, Mrs. Sato. It's a bit of a mystery, then. So we spot a mystery. Yep, that's a lot there. The box, too, is moved there. Okay. I feel like we about... I feel like we got everything, roughly. Yeah, you can tell there's something there when the thing on the side disappears. Okay. Okay, so that's... probably it, then? No? Where am I missing? Am I crazy? What am I missing? What am I missing? Can't go back. Yeah, I legitimately don't know what I'm supposed to be getting here. Is it the box? No. Huh. So we got that there, yeah. Oh! Okay. Look at this here. Yes, interesting. A multitude of the victim's handprints. Why are there so many of them on the floor in this one spot? You're saying he was crawling around on all fours? Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here. There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though, is there? I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over. I think that's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Sholmes. Well, here's quite a puzzle. Handprints all over the floor. Yeah, there's no obvious explanation. Did have the wrestling match. Well, we sprayed Mr. Sholmes' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we? We did, but there are 2 places in particular that are of interest, I would say. That is I didn't even really notice that that's a gap there that looks bad. The handprints on the floor there and on the wall by the picture, you mean? Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. I won't be a moment. Are you just gonna rip up the floorboard yourself? What is it, Mr. Sato? Look here, Mr. Naruhodo. One of the floorboards has popped out. One of the... You mean... It's a secret hiding place? Excellent work, Mrs. Sato. So, what do we have in here? Oi! What are you lot doing? Inspector Gregson! Stand aside right this minute. It's my job to investigate there. No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips while we dig around the floor here. Look at him angrily eating that. Your fancy talk's putting me off my food anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need. Wow, secret hiding place under the floor. What a find. It's not a hiding place you could make use of in Japan. I don't think I could lift a straw to Tommy Mat. No, I know, but I never expected one of these wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there, too. Aren't you curious? Oh, I'll investigate at once. It's actually a rather nice painting. There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall. How disappointing. But then how do you explain the handprints? I really can't think of why anyone would be touching the wall over and over in a place like that. It's almost like he was bracing for something while someone ravaged him from behind. Click? What? There you are. A print for you. Oh, I thought we discovered his secret camera or something. Good. Good. Oh, thank you very much. His invention can make prints, too? Now then, I wonder if Inspector Gregson has found anything under the floorboards there. I'm desperate to know. So am I. I could say Gregson on the floor there. Gregson just on the floor. It looks like that one picture of Yoda where he's like in chains. He's like, get on the ground, you freak. And then Yoda's like, oh no, oh, right? You know the one. You know. Why do this to Yoda? Right? You know the one with him in chains. This is your new home now, freak. Whoa! Right? He looks like a little slave Gregson. I'd love to know if there's anything hidden underneath that floorboard there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Gregson, really, it's been too long. What is it, Sholmes? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. A dismal failure. Yeah, I heard. I'd kill to know what was under that floorboard. Oh? Alright then, fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. I suppose I should at least fill you in. Oh really, Inspector? Thank you! Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind as fickle as the weather. Aye, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. There were 3 items under the floorboard there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a tin box. Wow, MacGyver could turn that into a bomb. Now, what do you want to know? I mean, I want to know all 3, but let's start with the newspaper clipping. Looks like this was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. About a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time up in Manchester. How terrible. Yeah, I'd hate to be in Manchester too. He made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see, but nature got him first, as happens in Manchester. Oh my goodness, he committed a capital offense? Man by the name of Selden. Selden. Is that meant to be a joke on, like, seldom? We'll see. We'll see. Nasty piece of work into burglaries and murder. They say the hoard he knocked off was worth about £1,000. A hoard? Of treasure, you mean? Jewelry and the like, but he'd hidden it somewhere, and no one knows where. Now he's dead. Papers loved it, of course. £1,000 lost en route to hell, or some such was the headline. Does not strike you, though, why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor? I suppose now you mention it, it does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork I've gotten Selden back at the yard and see if I can turn anything up. Interesting. Died of illness in prison. Okay. Illness, you say? Manchester's Strange Ways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes, suffering with a fever since the end of October. Found him already dead before capital punishment could be carried out. Okay. What about the print? Oh. That's the other half of the one. But why is he with... Garrideb, what are you doing, buddy? So, it's the photograph I found. Looks reasonably recent to me. Yes, it would appear to have been taken on the street in front of the house here. And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garrideb, the landlord, of course. But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garrideb's son, perhaps? Perhaps. You can take that print if you like. Really, are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The identity of the young fellow, that is. Oh, is that true? Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure. This is for work. All the more reason I'm not telling you. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. Hidden photograph is there. Now, of course, the question is, knowing Ace Attorney, what's on the back? I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floorboard. What's on the back? We can't even look at the back. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. What is it on the floorboard? I mean, Mr. Shamspeare himself isn't in it. Is he? That might be him. Photographic prints of still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garrideb was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. So he also steals photographs? No dignity. Tin box. Now this tin box looks interesting, doesn't it? Does it say Earl Grey on it or something? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? You're to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case. I wouldn't be in the least surprised. Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. What? Shamspeare, give us a clue, man! You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box. Yeah, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I feel inside. All the time, in fact. Is there nothing more to this box then, I wonder? We don't get it? That's a concern. Look at little Wagahai! Look at him go! Wow, big jump! Look at him! Look, it's that lovely little kitty cat. What was its name? It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. Oh! Oh, he actually refers to himself with Wagahai in the game? That's great. I wonder how he got in here. Clever cat. Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wagahai, here's something delicious I brought for you from the cat's meat. The cat's meat. Something wonderful I bought for you from the cat's meat man. You know, the phrase cat's meat man could have very different meaning depending on which cat's meat man you go to. Aww. Look at him. And now he's sweep.
Gregson still on floor.
He couldn't be happier now than look. I just hope we can bring some happiness to his owner, too. He's doing the little pat-pats! God, they made an adorable cat. Big stretch! Oh! That was a cheeky little meow Wagahai. Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever. I think he may not appreciate that after a while. And we have an investigation to get back to. Anything new up here, just as we're checking? No. Gregson, we already talked to, technically. So, there's gotta be... right? Are we not gonna look at the fact that he came up from behind this? Concerning. Mr. Garrideb here. So we got something to show him. Mr. Garrideb appears to be out. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Okay. I'm gonna go to Miss Green's hospital room because I want to see if I can talk to her. To show her something. I can't. But let's take a look at this, because can we not point out? Hey, that's clearly the same guy. No? Okay. Okay, I guess not. This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's ever occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital. The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so... He or she's probably running around the hospital then. Oh dear, how worrying. What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. Yeah, if you can run around, well, that's not true. If you can run around, you're not good, but... Okay, well... There's something going on with her. Briar Road, let's just go out and check again. No, nothing? Okay. Prison. Let's see what he's up to. Hey, buddy. Local prison cell 9. Oh, Mr. Natsume is back. So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello!
I am a cat.
That's the name of his story. Sorry?
I don't know who Mr. Natsume is. Horlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat.
Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality. Trying to? He already has, completely. So, what is your name then?
As yet I have no name.
Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality. Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume?
Show us them big old peepers. There they are. I am not a cat.
It worked! He's back in the real world!
What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that, it's obvious! My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate!
Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court prove there's hope!
Yes, Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but the Reaper's omnipresent in court, in my lodgings, here, there, everywhere.
What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there's some things we should discuss?
Oh, yes, we must. Okay.
Hey, bud. Let's talk about the trial.
In my whole life, never I've been so moved as I was today. No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then today being in that courtroom was... It was the most moving experience of my life, Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire!
You're too kind. Scotland Yard found the remaining tea, just as we deduced, and are analyzing it as we speak.
There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solemn sworn Saseki certainty.
Sound-wise, it's still alliteration, even if it's a C instead of an S. Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night?
Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies.
And at the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspeare then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. Tell me more.
That rotten Shamspeare! What have I ever done to him?
You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently?
I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything. Anything at all!
Right.
But what I don't understand is why he didn't let me know sooner.
Let you know what, Mr. Natsume?
About the soap, of course. What else?
Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend?
Of course I am. If I had money, I wouldn't have chosen to live a cursed existence in such accursed lodgings.
Oh yeah, you said it's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap, didn't you?
Exactly. Especially the room that I rent. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place, and it's trying to kill me.
Capital offender, you say? Oh. Okay. Capital offender?
Might I ask, Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps. We should have a whole land of them. A soap land, if you will.
Hey, is it this guy?
What's this?
It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Ah, so he knew, did he?
Sorry?
About this man, Selden. A convicted killer, and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings.
What?
He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another, a miserable maligned Japanese man.
Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you know about this evil spirit. Yeah, tell us about Selden, dude.
The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago now, and at the time he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garrideb's house.
What, he lived where you do now?
That's right, yes. Exactly where I live now, in my very room.
Is that where the treasure is? Oh my. Your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense?
But before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. Curse.
What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume?
It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison, a man died in the room. That man who rented it after Selden, in fact. The poor lodger, he was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside.
Oh no, not more locked door murders! Locked from the inside, exactly the case we're dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, is it?
Yes, well, that was the start of it.
There's more? Tell me more. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume?
The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas.
Gas.
I only found that out after I'd signed the lease. When Mr. Garrideb came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I'd probably been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily legal!
Lucky for Mr. Garrideb, maybe, but not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. And now you believe this curse is affecting you?
It is. At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time.
And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you?
The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up.
Is it gonna be that the cat sits on his face?
And the room is as cold as ice.
But why is your room so cold?
London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into the bed at night, the pilot light always goes out, and the room fills with gas.
That sounds really bad for your whole body. But that's terrible! It's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident that can be explained by a curse, though. Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garrideb's rooms. Do you have anything to say about this photo? Mr. Natsume, it's nothing much, but...
It's been too long since I've offered a present with that delightfully humble etiquette of our homeland.
What?
You're too kind. I accept it gladly.
Sorry, but, I wasn't trying to give it to you, actually. Okay. Handprints on the wall. Any idea for that? Nope. Nope. Okay. Gas meter? Nope. Okay. Bro's got nothing on that. Teacups? Nope. Okay. Soap? Oh! Mr. Natsume, what do you know about this?
Ah, there it is! That lathery lowlife took my neighbor's life and sent me sliding to the depths of despair. Slippery, sickly, psychotic saboteur!
You've really gone off soap, haven't you?
Absolutely, and I've made up my mind. The next time someone gives me soap as a present, it's friendship finished firmly forever.
I don't know that we can blame soap for everything that's happened, Mr. Natsume. Oh, nothing. Just a funny moment. Just a funny little thing. Mr. Natsume, about this receipt, that is very strange that it's still in my inventory.
It occurs to me now.
You might have just heard an explosion behind me. Don't worry about it. It is almost Chinese New Year, which means that the explosions will start even before.
But it was those confounded books that saw me arrested the first time, too.
Oh, yes, I suppose that's true.
After I spent my precious pennies on them, that's the thanks I get. Now I don't know when I'll read them. No, not when. If! I may very well hate them too much to ever even open their covers.
I don't know that we can blame the books for everything that's happened, Mr. Natsume. Alright, I don't think there's anything else to talk with you with. No, I think we got everything. Anywhere else? Oh, okay, we gotta go back, saying there's something new here. Alright, let's see. Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's room. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garrideb. Right, bally business it is for me, you know. Getting out and about. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally, fate of my lodgings hangs in the balance there and all that. Not a trial to miss. Fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes. Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such. Oh, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the blaze is going on, don't you know? Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago, you were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what had happened. Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business. I see. So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh? First things first. Please tell me, what is this? Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to look at this photograph? How that? Every time I see it makes me laugh. Is that your son who's with you there? No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name. Okay, Duncan as in like you dunk the paint in the thing, and Ross like Bob Ross? Is that what we're doing? Like Bob Ross? Okay. Duncan Ross. Is this the one who died? A street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot, just for kicks, really. Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume? Yes, that's right. The young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Mustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs before that Japanese chap. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? Okay. Alright. That's interesting. You know about this guy? Anything about him? Was he your previous guy too? Mr. Garrideb, can I show you this? Been quite a couple days. Okay, no, it's the same one as before, okay? I'm a little tired, you see? Yeah, no, okay, he's got nothing. That was the one that we definitely had to show him at least. Hey, do you know about this? Yeah. An Altamont gas meter, yes. Decent fireplace in here, of course, so no need for a gas stove. There's nothing better than a gas lamp for reading in bed, eh? Actually, Mr. Natsume mentioned the gas supply to his room kept failing. Yes, that. I had the gas company look into it. But they couldn't find a thing wrong. The chap must have been, imagining things. I don't think he was imagining it. The poor man woke up unable to breathe. I think he was, put down to ghosts at work or some such. Place must be haunted. That's concerning. How you feel about soap? Nope, nothing? Nothing about soap? Okay. Nothing about them cheating your gas meters and technically committing a crime in your area? Mr. Garrideb, about this photographic print. Ah, yes, the scene. I thought the bally fellow was as dead as a doornail. Jolly welcome news that he's alive, for him and for the room. For the room? What do you mean? Well, it matters, you know. When I come to let the room next time, people will ask. And there's a world of difference between a room where someone died and a room where someone nearly died. They sound awfully similar to me. Yes, it's all the money with him, huh? Great. Tell me about this, well, I didn't mean to click that one first, but... Yes, Duncan Ross. Young chap was attending art school, had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago, after that criminal Selden was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. No, they're looking for a place that's cheap. History of cheap rent, maybe. Yeah, right? Yes, well, anyway. It was one morning about a month ago now. I hadn't quite worked out the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodgers were up to at the time. Sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. The smell of gas alerted me it was. Yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. Once we got inside, we all bally collapsed. Because of the gas? Yes, the room was full of it. No air at all. Stove must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. Mr. Ross suffocated to death. Of course, the police gave me a sound ticket off because the gas pipes were all old and were sold and all that. Can't tell you how much it sent me back to have the lot replaced all over the house. But even after all that work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. The stove goes out at night while he's asleep in bed. Well, that's the bally curse, the convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now. Someone's feeling defensive. Okay, good, we can do the other ones. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet of rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bally curse. Convict's curse, you mean? Oh, heard the stories, have you? Ron scoundrel was arrested here, then the next chap in the room goes in and keels over. And then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. Am I next, eh? Well, can't help but get the collywobbles, can you? When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green? Because Miss Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shamsur, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still. Yes, well, so is this blasted convict's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history. Why, it sounds like the lap of luxury. I'm not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either. But you do look up for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of flames in your gas lamps up here? Yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things. In case there are any, mishaps or such like. I think you've had your mishap already, sir. Not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me. The words just came to my lips. Alright, tell me about what you think about the lodgers. Some fishy fellow from the Far East, and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? There's no need for that, Mr. Garrideb. You already did that once. That's right. Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy. He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is it right that he took vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up on the very same day. Have you come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were? I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on, so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long has Mr. Shamspear been lodging under your roof? That failed actor chap? Let me see. Of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now, quite sure of it. 3 months, you say? Only 3 months. He's quite new here, too, then. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Garrideb, if I might ask? Well, it was that Selden scoundrel, as it happens. Selden, the convict, you mean? You Selden and Shamspear have some kind of connection, then? Yeah, tell me about this. That convict chap, Selden, passed away in the clink 3 months ago now, you see. Some malady or other. Yes, we have seen the report from the newspaper at the time. Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedian? I know what it means, but I've never seen that word before. The tragedian showed his face, the actor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. 'Tis small, the world we inhabit. Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamspear, do request the desire to take thy room on the middle floor offered erewhile for rent. Terribly sorry. Wait. Terribly sorry and whatnot, but that won't be possible. I already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor room's vacant, though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me repeat mine until those curls be muffling your... Wait, oh, geez, it's weird to be in Garrideb's perspective, because I need to see his face to do the voice, you know? Garrideb. I'm Garrideb, yes. Those curls must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor is taken. It's ground floor or nothing. Very well. We have an accord. Oh, he's absolutely... Okay. Selden left the jewels there. He's looking for those. Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briar Road. Lo, a Shamspear dance to celebrate. His stupid dance. Oh my god. From what I heard in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months in arrears with the rent, too. Yes, the fellow was a bally player, all right. He hasn't paid anything for 3 months. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Garrideb. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my... Oh. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow, one of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own learning on the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines, then. Is that it? I think that's it, huh? That reminds me, actually. Yes, about young Duncan, the night before the poor chap perished. He'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady. Oh, a love letter, you mean? Yes, where did I put it now? If it's ripped in the corner. Here it is, left it on my desk. You'll excuse me. Let me see now, what does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Do you think that we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence? Dear Mr. Sato, that is precisely why I preface my reading with, if you'll excuse me. I will not excuse Mr. Sholmes, no! Sadly, he didn't address it, though. I've no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really. I see, that's going to play on my mind. I know exactly who it's for. But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave well alone. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Indeed, the intended recipient's address is missing. However, there's a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Mr. Sholmes, please, I've already had to chastise you about this once. My undying love to you, my colorful darling. Olive green. Ah, Olive green? The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago plunged. The victim of the last case Saseki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday. Is it just chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence? Mr. Naruhodo, whatever can this mean? Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Miss Sasato. Ha 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 ha! Okay. I have no idea how this is gonna work out. I feel like there's a lot here that is like it could work out well, but I just I'm trying to figure out how the knife thing that seemed like an utter accident ends up bringing this around, you know? I don't know. Mr. Naruhodo, I've just finished speaking with the doctor. It seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last. Well, this is good news, but hopefully just before she leaves... What is it? Girl! Miss Green! Woo! What was that? She clearly just hid 2 things behind her back.
One moment! We're with you in a jiffy!
It's right there. We can see it behind you.
Oh, hello everyone! What are you all doing here? The doctor said I could be discharged, so I'm just getting my things together.
Miss Green, what were you just doing?
Oh, nothing? Really? I was just about to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all.
What medicine?
Ozempic.
Oh, Miss Green. Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's all right.
Oi! I don't really have anything else to tell you.
All right, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can't coax something out of her. First off, before that, hi. Yeah, I see it right here. This is the card that Miss Green was looking at so intently before, isn't it? Mr. Naruhodo, we shouldn't be peeking at a young woman's private effects. Right, I should say peeking for gentlemen's effects only. You mustn't do that either. And maybe you, Miss Osato, shouldn't be peeking into a young man's mind either, hmm? Yeah, reading his thoughts, which the blue text is. It's not, people are like, well, it's clearly under the breath. No, it's always been thoughts. It's the bottle Miss Green was just about to drink from when we arrived. Yes, she looked rather preoccupied, didn't she? Perhaps it's very bitter. I can't stand bitter medicine. I suppose that could be it. Heck, whenever a doctor prescribes me medicine for a number of days, I always take it all at once. Blah! Oh no! Well, if you have to take something you don't like, it's best to get it all out of the way in one go, isn't it? Oh dear, and I thought it was Miss Green I should be worrying about at the moment. Down in 1, awarded. Shut up, that's so funny, actually. That's really funny. What do you mean down in 1 we got that? That's really funny. Tell me about the hospital discharge. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green.
Oh yes, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't want them lingering and wasting space. Not people like me, anyway. So I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat.
She certainly doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk, that's for sure. Hey, guess what? We got a picture of your boyfriend. Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross. Woo! You knew him, didn't you?
Woo!
Not the purple drink, not the lean! Oh no, I'm so sorry, the bottle of medicine fell down when she did. Miss Green, are you alright? Uh-oh. Was that actually real medicine? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to startle you like that.
No, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it. But how did you know about Duncan?
Well, America runs on Duncan. Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter to you.
It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan a year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day.
And the two of you became romantically involved?
More like just fuck buddies. I mean, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why I decided to move into a cheaper room to save money for the wedding.
And that's what led to Mr. Garrideb's...
Yes, he told me he found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then, 1 month ago, that's when it happened.
We're so terribly sorry, Miss Green.
Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose.
Poor Miss Green. She looks so desperately sad. I'm starting to think that's just her look. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her. Did we almost see an on-screen, like, was she trying to get it done?
I hope you won't think I'm being rude, but, would you mind leaving me in peace now? We have to leave the hospital soon.
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our way. Mr. Naruhodo, who's this? Oh, hi! Surely you are not about to leave. The rat's dead! The rat's dead! That's out of the question. What? Mr. Sholmes, I didn't realize you were here. But of course I was, my dear fellow. Watching intently from the shadows as always. Well, make your presence known next time. Mr. Sholmes, what's this about? Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Mrs. Sato, is this. Why do detectives insist on such ex post facto modus operandi? Why solve a case after it's happened, instead of preventing a case before it happens? That is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There's a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruhodo. So let us avert disaster. Let us prevent this case from ever happening, with nothing but careful observation. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You need only look and you cannot fail to see. Is it the dead rat? You can do it, Mr. Naruhodo. I know you can.
Please don't look at the dead rat that's being blocked by me.
That mouse, that's a rat. That's not a mouse, that's a rat. I see the size of that's a rat. That mouse seems to be dead. Look, I didn't notice it there before, did you? I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. But that's the bottle that Miss Green was about to drink from when we arrived. You don't think... Ah, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of the scene. That of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place. Miss Green, the contents of the bottle you had before has spilt out on the floor, and the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison. Don't worry. I will attend to the mouse presently. Hey, maybe we can attend to the person who nearly killed herself first? I think that's a bit more important than a freaking mouse, but okay. I guess we don't want it stinging up the place, but should we confront the person who nearly took her own life first? Miss Green, were you intending to go the same way as that rodent? To take your own life? Once we'd left, you would have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison?
No!
Miss Green, please talk to us. I can't look at the, wait, can I look at the letter? It definitely feels as though this card must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, Miss Green was standing there with it in her hand. It can only be described as a very tense atmosphere. Yes, may very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Sholmes believes to be happening here. Perhaps we should ask Miss Green about it. Okay. Just checking. Okay. That rat's dead, man. Schrodinger's rat. Can't believe it. Oh, suicide! 10 seconds later, and we would have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would have not enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green.
Actually, in a way, now that everything's out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted.
Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine?
Well, with this being a hospital and all, and the doctor comes to examine me in the mornings, he puts it on the table and says, you know, this would help us to clear out a spot really quickly. It'd be pretty good. They call it the Justin Trudeau method.
Some of you were like, ooh, and some of you are like, what? That's alright.
He always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I snuck this out while he wasn't looking. I might not look like it, but I'm a ninja.
Yes, I know all about ninjas. It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't really know. But I thought if I drink it, it might just stop the pain somehow.
They don't have liquid Advil yet. Oh, please, Miss Green. Don't talk of such things. Well, it seems clear now it contains poison. Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that.
Oh no! Oh, it's all my fault! What have I done?
I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objection?
No. None.
Anyways, what's on that card? Neither the sender's name or address appear to be written on the envelope or the card. That's where it's written!
It arrived by post at my home the day before the incident that put me in the hospital here.
I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Oh, that's so clearly from Shamspeare. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Oh my god. Don't go there. I don't want a slug in my salad. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Wait a minute. The 17th of this month? That's the day you were stabbed on Briar Road. And 5 p.m. is precisely the time when the incident occurred. A Slug and Salad, yes. A pub on the northern corner of Briar Road. Next to that other pub, and 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 that other pub. Briar Road being the street that Mr. Garrideb's house is on. Does this mean that...
Yes, I'm sure you've guessed. That day when I was struck in the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Salad.
Goodness. So that's what you were doing on Briar Road that day.
I'm sorry I didn't say anything before.
Interesting.
I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now. I've told you everything.
Yes, I'm very sorry to have to drag up such painful memories for you.
No, it's fine.
Miss Green. Hey, maybe we should tell the doctors about this so that you know, yeah, don't do that again. Let's maybe tell the doctors, just as a thing to do. Please promise us you won't try to do anything like that again.
Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has the bottle now anyway. No, don't look at the other bottles up there. No.
It's just open and there's just a bunch of purple ones.
And besides, I've been stabbed in the back, and I had a close shave with a bottle of poison, and I'm still here. I think I'm destined to see things through to the end. It might sound a little conceited, but, well, that's how all this has made me feel.
Well, good for her. Leaving Miss Green and St. Bartholomew's behind, we made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Sholmes. Oh, it's dark. Well, it appears we've reached the end of our investigative trail for today. Yeah, it's late. And Mr. Naruhodo, did you discover anything that may be of use to you in Courtmore, do you think? Details about Mr. Shamspear, Mr. Garrideb's lodgings, convict Selden. There are many facets to this case, and we've yet to see to the heart of it, if you ask me. That's my feeling, anyway. I can't help wondering about the results of the analysis. Into Mr. Natsume's tea, you mean? Yes, will they have found strychnine in it or not? Well, I fear that either way, it will be hard to escape the grip of our friend, Mr. Reaper. Oh dear. Yeah, Barrick Van Zeeks and his gorilla grip prosecutee. But I wish you every success, of course. And though I was late to rise this morning, tomorrow will be a new dawn. I intend to spring from my bed at a crisp hour and attend the trial. Mr. Sholmes, you're going to come? Indeed. Whatever happens, I shall be there. Assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done all we can. All that's left is to remain focused and keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. Nice. London, the world's most prosperous city, home to 6 million people. But away from the razzle-dazzle, down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, the lonely lurk. Saseki-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during this many months here, and so I felt honor-bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot to lift the curse that gripped him. As Mr. Sholmes said, tomorrow would be a new dawn for all of us. Yeah! That was an incredibly good investigative section. I really enjoyed that. I really did. I think that might be, like, honestly, one of the best. This is a really good case. I really like this case so far. It's really good so far. All right, guys, we will go on to trial part 2. Is this the last part or not? I don't know. Probably. For an episode 2, probably is. We'll continue on with that, guys, next time. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you for some more great Ace Attorney. Ciao. Yo.